Good afternoon and welcome to the annual Juneteenth hosted by the African American Community Service Agency. Our wonderful host for this event is Mr. Marcus Washington. Marcus, I'm going to turn the reins over to you.
Thank you so much, Erica. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know where you are, but you all are out there in the world today, and we want to thank you for joining us for the 39th annual Juneteenth in the Park virtual festival. So that's the thing this year, you know, things are a little different for us this year because of what's going on with the pandemic, and we definitely want to give our prayers to those who are struggling right now dealing with COVID-19, and just remind yourself to be careful. If you have those masks, if you're out and about, wear those masks. I'm gonna take mine off because, you know, hey, I'm inside right now. But look, we are in for a great time today. I wanna thank all of the people who are not only joining us, but those who made this all possible. We have to thank some of our sponsors. Visa for sponsoring this event. We thank you so much. Knight Foundation, powered by Zoom, Google, Cisco, HP, Health Trust, Cisco, Silicon Valley Community Foundation, 49ers, Western Digital, the City of San Jose of Cultural Affairs, Western Digital, Comcast, San Jose State University Alumni Association, Alaska Airlines, First Five, and everyone else who took part in this event. We thank you all so much. We want you to also know that we have a full day of so many events, as well as events for kids. So if you have some kids and you're like, well, what can they do? How can they enjoy all of this virtual excitement that's going on right now? Well, we have you covered. There's going to be an area for youth. There's an area for our Black Queens. We're going to have a seminar talking about that. Rock My Profile. We have Chef Sean here to not only show you what to cook, but look, you can actually cook with him. So maybe you want to get some things out and maybe get prepared. We're going to get you cooking up something nice and tasty, maybe for this evening or just maybe next week. And also we have Black artist Tyler Gordon. I'm a huge fan of Tyler. This young man's 14 years old and he's an amazing artist. So he's gonna come on and show you some of his talent as well. We also have Ian Young and the headliner, I know a lot of people excited about it, Anthony Hamilton.
Yes, woo!
A lot of people excited about that. But look, we've got so much to give you today because you all give so much to our communities, and we just want to thank you all for just being who you are, and we can't wait to all have fun here where you are. If you hear some music or you hear something you like, don't be afraid to clap and say yeah, or stand up and dance. But look, I want to show off. Look at these cool shirts. You see these? These are the Juneteenth shirts this year. I'm trying to, you know, normally I would be on the stage trying to show you all this. But look, you can see right there, you see our executive director, Milan Ballatin. Yes, Still I Rise in the back. You can look at him and you can see there, but these are really cool. I'm gonna let you know how you can get your hands on one of these cool shirts. We're gonna let you know about that a little bit later, but definitely wanna get it. The quality's good as well. So, you know, I always love getting mine. But this one, I really enjoy this one. And I'm gonna let you know about how we got these shirts and all that, the artists. We're gonna let you all know about all of that a little bit later. But we wanna kick things off by starting with the opening ceremony, the ritualistic ceremony by Chike, and we want to thank him so much for joining us. So Chike, you can take it away. I think we have you on mute, Chike. Can you take it off mute? There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks, Marcus, and thank you, everyone, and greetings to everyone who's joining us. I apologize for the noise around me. We're going to perform a libation ceremony, and we can't do that indoors, and so I'm set up outdoors. And this might freeze once in a while because of the internet connection outdoors, but let's get with it. Before we start, the message I first of all have for all my brothers and sisters. We all are aware that these are challenging times for us. But my one message for you is to chin up and walk in dignity, because we are experiencing a time in our history where we are living the lives of our ancestors who walked in monumental dignity. They faced incredible obstacles and challenges, even more than we are facing today. But it is because of their sacrifices and their legacies that we are able to sit here and celebrate. And so in spite of all the difficulties, in spite of all the challenges, don't be weary. Take it all in with humility and honor, and know that there's a reason why Mother Earth has put you here in this space and in this time at this moment. And so if you are to protest, please protest. If you are to write, sing, dance, do it. Do your part, because generations from now will talk about today. And the question will be, what did you do? And so for all of us that always look at those clips of films from the 40s, 50s, and 60s and say, gosh, if I was there, I would have, you are living it now. And so what you can do, or what you would have done then, is what you're doing today. But take it in with pride. Don't let this thing weigh you down. It is okay to cry, but as soon as you dry those tears, chin up, embrace it with monumental dignity, because we have carried this planet from the birth of time, and we will always carry this planet on our shoulders as people of African ancestry. So today we're going to pour libation the way my fathers before me did, and the fathers before him did. We're going to pour libation and prayers, and that's why I'm outside. And I'm humbled and honored to bring together with me and my Ghanaian elder who is here. And so as we say these prayers, we're also going to call on our ancestors and those that have passed, those whose lives were taken from us. And as we celebrate this in prayers, I call on you, if you wish to close your eyes, do so. If you want to keep it open, keep it open. If you want to call into this space wherever you are, those ancestors from your own bloodlines, to come and heal us, to come and lay their protective hands on us. That is what we are going to do. But we're going to say it in the language of my fathers, because they did not speak the colonizers' language. So please indulge us. We are going to now pour libations to our ancestors. And I welcome my big brother, Dela Akolashe from Ghana. So let's go. Yeah. Yeah.
Nime.
Yeah.
Name.
Yeah.
Nime.
Yeah.
Name.
Yeah.
One binye.
Yeah.
One chenye.
Yeah.
One chenye kebadi mene.
Yeah.
Ye America man.
Yeah.
Ninye biye.
Yeah.
Na bajuwa me.
Yeah.
Keba manen.
Yeah.
Na pata me here.
Yeah.
Mene an me wo.
Yeah.
You won fe woni.
Yeah.
Smoke me ne tesien America me nu kwekuda. Sha me tona me pata wo here ko da bi ne kan ne nya ayo no. Do mbanyene won pinye won panye fight won hanye da. Inye nu ni wo kejo nye twi nya da nye mai.
Yeah.
Nya da nye mai.
Yeah.
Nya da nye mai.
Yeah.
Yes. Asasi ya. Kutukuruku. Asantene. Nime.
Yeah.
Na to na.
Yeah.
Na ulomo.
Yeah.
Togbi adelaja.
Yeah.
Won chenye fe nyeba.
Yeah.
Nyeba na mene. Nyeba hita nyema.
Yeah.
Ye bie na baduwa me.
Yeah.
Mene na me fe ni.
Yeah.
Ofia no abahi.
Yeah.
Ofia na ya mo tufi. Osumo bena na ngbe anate anangbe dabi wo ya le na. Ewo ye bie huni apeta me ye kebashi meni abrafo me egbe ame.
Yeah.
Na me sumo na me ya hi. Na me to na me pata me hi fe. Na me won chenye gbe ni wo bi ame ye ame eku na me jo ame.
Yeah.
Wo Yara Thomas.
Yeah.
India Graka.
Yeah.
Sandra Brand.
Yeah.
Freddie Gray.
Yeah.
Matthew Ajibade.
Yeah.
Eric Harris.
Yeah.
Otto Sterling.
Yeah.
Stephen Clark.
Yeah.
Trevor Martin.
Yeah.
Tamia Rice.
Yeah.
Michael Brown.
Yeah.
Eric Gardner.
Yeah.
Philanda Castle.
Yeah.
Yana Taylor.
Yeah.
Ahmed Abri.
Yeah.
George Floyd.
Yeah.
Ufane nyama eko na me wodi. Neka hana me eko gba me na. Won kwese won ha me. Won kwa die yeju ame. Nime.
Yeah.
Na me.
Yeah.
Eya na nye nwai.
Yeah.
Mene Bekele bien na bajuwa me ke ba fe. Mene fe an me wo ni pele agbeyin ha wo ko no fe ni wo ba fi e ya no. O be yen ko nye sumo. Ta omanyaba.
Yeah.
Ta omanyaba.
Yeah.
Ta omanyaba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just want to say what a privilege it is for me to help kick this off. We know the legacy that today represents. And so our ancestors have been called into the house. So let's get on with the fun. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Thank you all, and thank you for giving me the honor and opportunity to share with you. God bless.
Thank you, Chike. We thank you so much. And you know, that was really, really moving, not only to hear that, but also just hear the names of the many people that we've come to know. So I thank you so much for leading us in that ritualistic opening ceremony. And I love what you said too about if you feel like crying, cry. If you're feeling emotional, be emotional. Don't hold that in. It is not the time to hold that in. Let it out. Talk to someone. Cry if that's what you need to do. But don't bottle your emotions in right now. I think this is a time that so many people are listening, and we need to talk about how we're feeling. And it's so important to do that. Well, I want to continue on with this. Right now, we have the mayor of the city of San Jose, Mayor Sam Liccardo. I normally see you on Today in the Bay, but now I'm seeing you here, so it's good to see you as always.
Marcus, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. And I was just thrilled and inspired, of course, to see my friend Chike, and thank you, Chike, for that very moving, both moving and powerful moment that you offered us. Look, I can't overlook this moment. This is a time when I know long overdue conversations are happening about systemic racism, about institutional racism, about police brutality in our country, in our community. And I want to say thank you to so many of you who have elevated these issues, who have been trying to elevate these issues for years. And I know perhaps only now are you hearing myself and others who grew up with white privilege saying words like Black Lives Matter. And those words and those feelings should have been expressed many years before. I just wanted to say that I am honored that you would again invite me to celebrate Juneteenth. And we should remember this is celebration. It's celebration, though, for a past for which this country has long labored and unsuccessfully labored to liberate itself. And we all have the work to do together. And so I know that I am going to misstep and fail, and my brothers and sisters in the community are going to remind me when I do so, and I'm going to learn. And I appreciate those opportunities to learn as we move together. I really also want to express my deep appreciation to Milan Valentin and the African American Community Services Agency for all they do to lift our entire community together. And I look forward to both continue the celebration today, but most importantly, the work we have to do together in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you, Marcus.
Mayor Sam Liccardo, thank you so much for those kind words. We want to keep things going, and we have with us Assemblymember Ash Cholera from District 27. Ash, thank you so much for being here. Always good to see you.
Good to see you too, Marcus. Thank you so much. And I always enjoy joining Sam and so many others when we get to be at Cesar Chavez Park and enjoy Juneteenth. It's been such an incredible tradition that we're also we always look so forward to. And but it's great to be here in our new form of gathering that we're also getting used to, unfortunately. And I just want to commend the African American Community Service Agency, Milan, and all the leadership and everything that's been happening through the COVID crisis, and certainly in raising voices as the Black liberation movement has a resurgence in a very powerful way, especially as we think about the 100th anniversary of the Harlem Renaissance. And we think about how much that movement meant in order to allow African Americans to define what Black culture was, what the Black community was for themselves, not allow others to define who they were, and how that Renaissance has an impact to this day in terms of an appreciation for and respect for Black culture that is oftentimes taken for granted. And I think what we're seeing right now with the Black Lives Matter movement is not just in the streets, but we're seeing it also in the media. We're seeing it with entertainers, with athletes that are starting to recognize the role that they play as well. Similarly to the Harlem Renaissance, where it wasn't just the great Black thinkers, but it was the artists. It was those that were contributing as writers. It was the dancers, the jazz performers. They all recognized that they had a role to play in redefining what Blackness was to not just America, but to the world. As we know, the Harlem Renaissance had that impact overseas, had it throughout the world. And so even right now, we're seeing millions march around the world demanding justice, not just for George Floyd, but demanding a more just world for African Americans here in this nation and around the world as well. When we look at the African diaspora and how through generations, centuries of colonization and of being taken advantage of being really relegated to second-class citizenship in so many different ways, that it's appropriate that we use this anniversary of the Harlem Renaissance for our African-American brothers and sisters to once again say enough is enough. And it's unfortunate that it's once again, but that's the reality, is that when I mentioned earlier about the Black liberation resurgence, it's a resurgence because it never went away. I think our Black brothers and sisters have been screaming at the top of their lungs for many generations. And I think that the nation hasn't always heard, certainly not as profoundly as it is right now. And so I think that this is once again an opportunity for us as we approach Juneteenth to think about what Juneteenth really means and what liberation means. As I've said many times when I've joined you all at the Juneteenth in the plaza, is that yes, there may be a recognition of the importance of Juneteenth in terms of freedom on paper, in terms of the end of slavery. But the reality is that the liberation movement hasn't ended since then. And here we are in 2020, and we're just now taking down Confederate statues. We're just now having these in-depth conversations of what policing means in terms of with the African American community, of what healthcare access means, what economic justice means, as Dr. King so eloquently spoke about prior to his assassination. And so I think that there's such an opportunity for us right now to learn from our Black brothers and sisters, to listen and to follow. And I think Juneteenth is such a perfect opportunity for us to do all of those things. And so it's also a moment of celebration as well. And I think that especially when we think about the Harlem Renaissance and think about the celebrations and think about the celebration of art, life, culture, and deep thinking that occurred from the Harlem Renaissance, I think we should replicate that as well, not just in Harlem, but everywhere, including here in San Jose, in the Bay Area, in California, is for us to take the time to appreciate what Black culture has offered for, throughout the history of this nation, and more significantly, what Black culture offers us here in 2020, and to not just appreciate it, but to do whatever we can to cultivate it, to empower the Black community, so that once again, they can continue to exert their influence and their definition of who they are and who they want to be, and how we can support that, not just as elected officials, but as a community. And so again, I just want to thank you for inviting me to be part of this in a virtual setting. And it's always great to see all those I'm currently seeing on the screen, although I know many others I know are tuning in. And so I'm very hopeful that next year we'll be able to meet together in person, although, we'll do whatever public health requires of us. And but anyway, happy Juneteenth. And thank you all so much for everything that you do all year round, but especially in reminding us of the celebration of Juneteenth and what it means for us. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Assemblymember Ash Caldwell. We also want to thank Mayor Sam Liccardo, as well as Chike, for being a part of the opening ceremony for the 39th annual Juneteenth Festival in the Park. virtual event this year. Well, I am your MC for the afternoon. I'm Marcus Washington. I am the morning anchor with NBC Bay Area News here in the Bay Area, and it is just a joy. This is my third year being a part of the Juneteenth Festival in the park, and I can tell you it was just heartwarming when Milan told me, the executive director of the African American Community Service Agency, when that the event will still go on, but this year it will be a virtual event. And I think that is just so important for an event like this to continue, because it really does provide not only entertainment, but a lot of inspiration for a lot of people out there. So thank you all for tuning in and being a part of this event. And we have so much for you. We also have coming up for you, we want to tell you about the sessions that are coming up. There is Black artists featuring Ian Young with the Quiet Giant Designs, as well as Tyler Gordon. You can actually see them paint live via their Instagram pages. I'm going to get those to you in just a minute. But certainly if you know them, Tyler Gordon, you can type that in, as well as Ian Young, the Quiet Giant Designs. They're going to paint live for you, so you don't want to miss out on that. We also have our community events that are coming up, and we want to make sure that we display our talented people from many different areas that we have. But we also want to let you know that, tell people about this is going on, that we are live right now. You can do that and use the hashtag Juneteenth 2020 or hashtag SJAACSA. Also hashtag Still I Rise. And take a look at this back of the shirt. You can see Still I Rise. Cool shirts right here. I want to get you that information in just a bit. I know they're working to get that, because I want to make sure I get it right when I bring you that information. But our next session that's coming up for you will be our Black Queens session. So I think they have that link for people who are interested in attending that. So please jump in there so we can keep the conversation going.